Today we're going to be using a ruler to measure different objects to the nearest 1/4 inch and to the nearest 1/2 inch. So I have a ruler here that I have split up between 1/4, 2/4, and 3/4. Between 1, in between 1 and 2 would be the same thing. Between 2 and 3 would be the same thing. When we learned about fractions, think about a fraction on a number line. This would be 0. This would be 1. In between here, there's these little bitty lines. We're not going to worry about those. We're going to worry about these lines right here. So you can see 1, 2, 3, and then that one would be right there. So I'm going to draw 3 lines in between 0 and 1. 1, 2, 3. And when we do that, we can see that it's broken into 1, 2, 3, 4. So in between 0 and 1, in between 1 and 2, we can break that into fourths on a number line. What I also remember from fractions is that 2/4 was equivalent or was the same thing as 1/2. So anytime I'm at 2/4, I'm at that middle one, I'm going to make it 1/2 of an inch. So we're going to use that today to measure some things so we can be more accurate with our measuring. So I'm going to measure. I have this little Lego lady. I'm going to make sure that I line her up with the line right here on my ruler. Turn over this way. All right, so her feet are lined up. End of her head comes to right here. All right, so on my ruler, this would be, I can see my line, this would be 1/4, 2/4, and where her head lines up is 3/4. So I'm going to label her up here. She equals 1 3/4 inches. So I'm going to show you something else. On here, I have this model of a car, and I'm going to line it up. So I've got the front of it lined up. Line it over the very edge of it. I'm going to come back here to the very edge, and it is this line right here. So I know I'm dealing with 2 inches. It's past 2 inches, so it's in between 2 and 3 inches. I can see 1/4, 2/4 is more than that. So my next one where it lines up right here is 2 3/4. So this equals 2 3/4 inches. And I'm going to measure one more thing for you. Make sure we're all understanding. Got my mouse right here. So I'm going to line it up. And this one, I can see it's more than 1. 2, it's more than 3, it's more than 4, but it's not more than 5. So it's in between 4 and 5. I see 4 1/4 would be right here. 4 2/4. Now I know that 2/4 is the same thing as 1/2. So this is going to equal 4 1/2 inches.